Welcome to the Entrepreneur Mind podcast, where transform your mindset from consuming to producing. I'm your host, Zen Flint.
Welcome to Entrepreneur Mind podcast. I'm your host, Zen Flint. Today I'm delighted to have a very special guest joining us from Austin, Texas. His name is Jia Jiang. He is serial entrepreneur, blogger, speaker, and rejection therapist. Hi, Jia. Welcome to the show.
How's it going, Zen?
I'm doing great, thank you. So, can you tell us a little bit more about you and your background?
So I'm an entrepreneur here in Austin. I grew up in China and met Bill Gates at a pretty young age. Wanted to be this world-changing entrepreneur. That's has always been my dream. So then I came to the States as a teenager and went to school. Then somehow got into this corporate rat race. Start trying to find a better job, make more money. And then I spent my 20s in that kind of environment. I was doing really well in terms of income and everything. But in my 30s, as soon as I hit 30, it was a 3-0 is a big change in my life. And I thought, wow, maybe I can't do this entrepreneurship anymore. I'm getting old. But then just bit the bullet and, made a jump last year. So started my startup in the full time. So that's my background, and then this whole amazing story happened after I got rejected with the investment. So is that too long for the for the self intro?
No, it's perfect. So what kind of business was it that you
So
started?
yeah, it was software. We're trying to make apps. We're trying to gamify everyday life and try to make it more fun and more rewarding. So that's what we did. We had a web app, we had an iPhone app, and we sync everything together.
Mm-hmm. So when you came to the United States, how old were you?
I was 16.
16.
Yeah.
And you spoke English back then, or you learned in the
Nope.
United States?
Yeah, no, I learned Japanese as my second language growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first came to the US, I could say hello and thank you and hi, and that's about it.
So you have to teach yourself and
Yes.
all the determination in order to learn the language. Just like
Yeah.
me, for me, English was a third language, but I have to learn from scratch. And
Right. Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Kyrgyz Republic. It's in Central Asia.
Okay.
Between Russia, China, Mongolia. So we
Right.
speak as a native language Turkish, and the second language Russian, and third language I learn English in States.
Okay. Awesome.
So what's entrepreneurship means to you?
What entrepreneurship means to me? It means to me to find a need and in the market. I mean, the two parts. One is finding a market, speaking from pure economic standpoint. What people would pay money for, basically. On the other hand, the niche, the niche and the need. The second, the niche and the market. And second part is the need. What people actually need. Do they have a problem for me to solve? And can I make their life better in some way? So those two things combined together, I feel that's the essence of entrepreneurship.
Fantastic. So when you start your blog, of course you had the. Can you tell a little bit more about your blog, about your rejection therapy, and then we go from there?
Yeah. It's about 100 days of rejection. So basically, what happened is I was running my startup. I was working my butt off. I had a 6 month. That was the deadline given to me by my wife. I need to see what can how I can make this happen. And then 4 months into my venture, I was turned down with an investment, which I really thought I was going to get, and that hurt like crazy. So I started searching for ways to overcome rejection because I'm not sure I wanted to go through this whole thing again to work this hard for putting a plan together, making a pitch, and then trying to make meetings and everything, then get rejected like that. So, but I know being a good entrepreneur, I need to have that quality, which is not being fearless, not care about rejection. So I searched online and found the game called Rejection Therapy. If you Google it, rejectiontherapy.com, you'll find it. It's developed by the Canadian gentleman Jason Comley. So Basically the principle is to ask you to go out and go look for rejection. That's it. Whether or not it's a game or whatever, that's I just did it. So I thought I love the idea. I will do this for 100 times. I will blog about it. I will film the whole process to show the world. So basically, I want the world to keep me accountable. Otherwise it's very hard to finish 100 of these. So, and I did it. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, your TED Talk presentation, I really love it. It's very inspiring
Thank you.
in terms of understanding about rejection and what you did and what you have to get through. And that's how I find out about you as well. So I would recommend all the listeners to check it out, and I will link to the website, this interview, as well as the TED Talk presentation that you gave. So when you started your journey to the rejection therapy, which one is most memorable that you still remember, or was most challenging for you to actually go in, you have a guts to ask for rejection?
Yeah. So the couple ones, the most memorable one was, yes, the one with the Krispy Kreme one. That was definitely most memorable. I went to the store. I made a challenge to ask them to make me 5 interlinked donuts that look like Olympic rings. That's just, I came up with the idea and I thought it was fun. For sure, it's gonna get rejected, but the person took it so seriously, and Google the color actually made it happen. And I videoed the whole thing. They didn't know they didn't know I was videotaping. They just thought I asked questions. So the reactions are all genuine, and I put it online. That video went absolutely viral. Got over 5 million views. So
in 2 weeks, right? Over 5 million.
Yeah, in a few weeks. Yeah. So it was pretty crazy. So yeah, that was the most memorable one, and there are a lot of very challenging ones. So I feel there are a couple that are that the most challenging ones involving me being in front of a lot of people. So for example, there's one I asked the airline saying, the flight attendant saying, "Can I make the safety announcement?" And he said yes. He didn't. He said yes. So when I went up there, so there's one thing to get a yes, to get a yes, to have that one-on-one yes and no moment, but it's the next thing to actually go up there to the front of the plane, get a microphone, and talk to a plane full of people. That was tough. That was very scary.
Fear of public speaking.
Yeah, so I don't have the fear of public speaking. Actually, I did, but not. I gave quite a few talks. After I'm not afraid of that anymore. But in that environment where no one was inviting you to do it, people were just sitting there minding their own business. There's that huge fear to see what people will see of me. Like, am I crazy? That I think the uninvited public speaking is really tough.
Uninvited.
Uninvited, yeah. The invited one, if they provide a stage, and then there's audience.
And they're anticipating your speech.
Those were actually very tough as well, especially before going up there. But once I get up there and start making the speech, it's really not bad. And people start applauding, and there's that audience speaker interaction going on. That wasn't bad. But this uninvited, just going up there and get the microphone and say something, that was tough.
That's true. And how you deal with that? How you, do the practice when you get used to it, to speak in front of the public? Is there any tips that you learn along the way from your experience?
Yeah, so a couple things. One is I just really need to focus on what I say. Like, whether it's public speaking or going to someone to make a crazy request, I need to focus on what I do, not how the other person will react. Because if I do that, I have no control over if you think I'm crazy, or if you just leave in a huff, or you would applaud, or you would think I'm awesome. I cannot control that. What I can control is I need to go up there and hold my head high and speak in a very clear manner, and slow down when I need to, and then make eye contact with people. That's what I can control. So I focus on those instead of the other person, how they're going to react.
So you mostly focus on delivering the message and how you're going to present it, instead of other circumstances that is out of your control, out of your hands.
Yeah, those things are just really worries me. Something I can control. But hey, there are two things in the world. One is something you can control, you don't have to worry about them because you can control them. And there are things you cannot control, and you don't have to worry about them because worrying means doesn't do you any good. So
Yep. What about the camera? Like when you did your video blog,
yeah,
you was using your iPhone
here it
to.
is. This is the iPhone,
Uh-huh.
and this is something I bought from Amazon. It's a very simple wallet, wallet iPhone. It's not anything to do with video,
Uh-huh.
but I just have this. I put my credit card in there and everything. This is my iPhone, so I just hang it on my neck, and I put my earphone in, and that's it.
Oh,
So
that's pretty cool. And then right there is a hole that you can actually shoot the
yeah,
video.
yeah, yep.
I
That was
love
all.
it. It is a lot of fun, right? So
Yeah,
when you come up to the people, they get very like you you ask those questions and you want to get a rejection, right? That's your idea, to get
yeah.
the
So
rejection.
yeah, the thing progressed. When I started, I was looking to get rejected, just come up with the most ridiculous thing to get rejected. But I learned really quickly people would say yes to me. If a lot of people actually say yes, especially the Krispy Kreme one. There's no way they're going to say yes, and they did.
Mm-hmm.
It changed my perspective of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, I don't worry about rejection or getting a yes or a no anymore. I just don't. I get a yes, great, had a great experience. I get a no, awesome. I learned how to deal with rejection.
Mm-hmm.
But I focus on having the guts to ask. That is actually most very difficult part, to actually walk up there to make those crazy requests and do it in a way that's composed and calm and confident and non-threatening and respectful.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I focus on now.
Oh, okay. So it is evolved.
Yeah, it is evolved, definitely.
Fantastic. So I think it is very challenging for a person just simply ask, even ask for the services, like
Yeah,
even if you're paying for it, but
yeah,
and then if you just want to ask someone to do something for you for nothing, it's even more fear in people's eyes, before they even try to approach or think about. But you will be surprised by your experiments how many people are willing to open up to your request, right?
yes,
Just like there is the saying, if you ask, you shall receive, right?
yeah. Seek ye shall receive. So yeah, like that's true. I don't always shoot for yes. I don't always get a yes. That doesn't really matter to me. But I found out asking is different if I don't care about the outcome. If I really, so if I focus on what I do, I started acting in a very natural way, unconfident way. And by being so, I actually get more yeses. And I found if I started, oh, I really want this, let me just say this. And then I started, my body posture changes. I started like trying to frown a lot. I started make sure that, I won't start trying to let them know that I know this is crazy. Maybe you shouldn't accept it. So I can't focus on the outcome. That's the really key takeaway for me. I can't focus on the outcome. I focus on me going out there to ask, and I'll let the outcome take me on the ride. Who knows what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. So definitely there is no thought or anticipation about what the outcome will be. Are you going to get rejected or are you going to get positive feedback? It doesn't matter. You
Yeah,
just try to focus on, just like your presentation, try to focus on of asking and being confident. And
right,
that way you get more, yes, if you feel more natural, right? If you feel
right.
more not stressed out or not afraid, you feel
Yeah,
more relaxed.
yeah. Because people actually pick up body signals really, really quickly, and
It
they do
is
it.
powerful.
Yeah, they do it
Body
really.
language.
Yeah, body language. So if they see you're stressed out, they see if you are not confident and have some doubts in your mind, then quickly that translates into their own stress, their own doubt. It's like, okay, if this guy doesn't know what he's worried about what he's doing, he's very stressed out. What he's asking it must be really, really crazy, and I shouldn't say yes to that because I don't want that kind of stress. I don't want that kind of doubt. But if you do so with confidence, actually people are drawn to me. They're like, okay, this sounds interesting. We'll see what happens.
So, what other rejections that you could tell to the
Yeah.
listeners so they can try out a few of the rejection tips. What should they ask for to get
I've
rejection?
I've quite a bit of those. For example, I went to a restaurant and asked them to sing me happy birthdays, and I made it very clear, saying, I'm not a customer. I know if it's my birthday, I'm a customer. You would do it, but I'm not a customer. I'm gonna leave really soon. I'm just stopping by, and it's not my birthday, but just want to hear you sing songs to me. And they're more than one that they're happy to sing it to me. They got a group
Really?
of got a group of servers and just did it, and it was fun. Yeah, it was all
Wow.
fun.
What
And
else?
there's another one that was really like it really changed my like give me left a huge impression on me is when I went to a airfield. And I saw a person flying his private airplane
Mhm.
and asked him, "Can I fly your plane?" And he said yes to me. And that was an amazing experience because it really showed the power of asking. There was no way they're gonna say yes.
Yeah, you would have just you wouldn't even bother to ask, right? Because your
Yeah,
mind would tell you, hey, most
yeah,
likely you're gonna say no, right? You
yeah.
will be
Not most likely.
discouraged.
There's 100% there was enough because at the time I got a little bit. I want to get a no at the time because I feel like I'm getting too many yeses. I get like 4 to 5 in a row. I'm like, okay, I need to get a no. Let me just go ask for
Made up
something.
something crazy,
Yeah, make
right?
something like so crazy, hopefully not insulting,
Mhm.
and the person said yes. That showed me that there's no limit really in this interpersonal interaction. There's nothing too crazy as long as you can make that connection. As long as you don't have that fear, you go ask. You never know what's going to happen. So people often reject themselves before the world rejects them. So I want to let people know if you're going to get rejection, let the world reject you, not yourself.
So if you don't go and ask, you're rejecting yourself,
Yes. Yep.
and you're trying to find out. You only way truly to find out if you would get rejected or not is to ask.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would much rather to be rejected by the world than myself. You know,
In,
people
in,
think people think rejection is this very negative thing, right? You go ask something, you got rejected.
it is kind of depressing though.
Yeah, it's
If you
it
get
is
rejection, you get depressed, and most people do depress because of that, and that's why
if
they're afraid
if
to.
you get depressed because you don't see rejection as you have to see rejection as what it is, right? Rejection is nothing more than people's opinion. The people who give you rejection, he made up this mind of not rejecting the idea of what you're presenting. That's his opinion. I will often say the world lacks many things. We don't have we need enough more love, more sympathy. But one thing we have plenty of is people's opinions. Everyone has them. They're more than willing to give them for free. But if you get rejected and you take that rejection, that opinion, that preference someone has, some sort of truth, objective truth, the universe is trying to tell you, that's when you get in trouble. That's when you are scared because then you lose confidence. You thought what you're doing is horrible, and you are worthless. There are a lot of our mind can do a lot of tricks like that. So if you know there's nothing more than opinion or preference, then you're not afraid of anymore. Who cares about other people's opinion? If you care about it, if you want to care about it, but you don't have to. I have opinion. I like Coke. I mean, I like Pepsi better than Coke. That doesn't mean everyone likes Coke or everyone likes Pepsi. So take it as an opinion and never take it personally. Once you have that in mind, right? So you start asking, you don't get depressed anymore. You see this. Now you start trying to get rejected because the opposite of rejection. People think rejection versus acceptance, right? You get acceptance, positive. If you get rejected, negative. So because there's a chance of negative, you just don't do anything. And that in itself seems like a safe way, a positive way. But actually, a rejection and not asking, they're basically the same results, which is you're getting ignored by the world. If you don't ask, you're getting ignored by the world. You're rejected by default. So you have to go keep getting asked, keep asking making your requests to the world and getting things done. Otherwise, again, you're ignored.
Mhm. And once you get the positive feedback, is it makes you feel so much confident, makes you want to go and do even more? What kind of feelings you get once you get
Yeah,
a lot of
I,
yes?
I try to not get too high on positive, too low on negative,
Mhm.
because again, I'll be focusing on the results. I get the positives. I enjoy the ride. I enjoy the experience, and really nothing more than that. You know,
Mhm.
it doesn't like I don't go home and tell my wife I got a yes. I should do this again so I get another yes. That's not what I do. I say I'll make another request and see what happens.
Beautiful. It's very. I think it's able to control your emotions too, right? I
Yeah,
mean, don't get too emotional, and just you doing it as a experiment, or you now beyond that, or you doing it now in different way. How you experiencing it now?
yeah. I'm doing basically
Exper.
very similar way. You know, and because this is like having the courage to ask is not something you gain, then you can keep forever. It's not like riding a bike or swimming. It's actually like a muscle, right? Or if you gain that kind of courage, gain that kind of mental edge, but don't do it again for a long time, you lose it. You know, so it does atrophy. So what I do is I try to do this still once a week. You know, keep asking and keep getting rejected and you know, not care. So going forward, I can always draw from the strength that of my experience. So that's what I do. And secondly, you know, what I'm doing right now is I'm writing a book. I'm trying to I'm putting my experience into my story into a book and trying to inspire more people.
Fantastic. Yeah, definitely. Let me know when your book is out, so we can
Right.
talk more about.
All right.
So when you like when you get the rejections, it's like if you don't use it, you will lose it, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like just like you said, it's a muscle. You gotta continue to exercise those muscles.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sort of courage, the mental sharpness, you know, and the edge, the negotiation skills. Those are really skills that you need to practice over and over again. Yeah. If you don't, you're gonna lose it.
Is there any tips you can tell to the listeners what they can do today to go ahead and try to get some of the rejections, give them some
Yeah,
ideas?
sure. Love to. I did this on one of my earlier days. If you go to grocery store today, all right, go to grocery store and you know, to buy anything, ask them to take you a tour of the warehouse.
Tour of the warehouse.
Tour
Okay.
of the warehouse, and I asked it. I didn't get it, but you know, so. But I'm sure someone will say yes. Someone, you know, most people will say no. But go ask it. It will sound ridiculous, right? No one asked that question, but try it. You're not gonna get shot. No one's gonna punch you. No one's gonna you know, if you say it in a very respectful way. You know, don't make a demand. Don't come in like you know, I mean, don't look like an a-hole. You know,
Uh-huh.
come in with respect, and I just ask them, hey, can I have a tour in the warehouse? If they ask you why, you know, give them the right reason. You know, one, you can say I want to ask you crazy stuff, or you can say I'm interested to know what's out there. So and to see what happens.
What else? What else? I love it. So give us a few more.
Right. Another thing is when you're on the street, try to borrow $1. Try,
Borrow a dollar.
yeah, try to ask for
Like a beggar or no?
no. Okay.
Just kidding.
Yeah, ask them a good reason. I mean, if you wear a dress not nicely, you can even say, "I don't need $1. I just want to see if I have the courage to ask for $1." And I'm asking right now. You don't have to give to me, but can I have $1 from you?
I love it. I love
Yeah,
it. Ask for the money, right?
yeah. I'll give you one more. I'll give you one more.
Yes, yes.
This is something I did that was it was pretty difficult when I did it, and but the end results will be really good. You go to a store or you go to somewhere, just anywhere, when you see a stranger, ask that person to give you a compliment.
I seen that when you did in the
Yeah,
Target. It was
yeah.
awesome. What an
I,
experience.
I did that in at a store,
Costco, yeah.
Costco, and it was amazing because it's so hard for me to ask to walk up to a stranger, hey, can you give me a compliment? And it's so hard because one is not normally something to do. Secondly, I don't know. There's a lot of psychological barrier there for you to ask something to say something nice about you.
Yeah, I mean,
But
usually
what
you don't ask people like, "Hey,
you don't,
can you tell me something nice about me?" Right?
yeah, yeah. But here's the thing: I asked 5 people, they all say yes.
Mhm.
When they say, okay, okay, you're a pretty tall guy. I like your hair. I was wearing a shirt that has my school's logo on it. Yeah, it's like, yeah, you went to a really good school, and you dress nicely. People started trying to come up with ways to compliment me,
Mhm.
and then and in turn I give them a compliment as well. If that's a lady has a nice glasses, and they say, hey, those glasses have put out a character on you, and or the father is taking a daughter to store. I'm like, looks like you're a good, it looks like you're a good father. If someone's working on Friday night, I said, hey, you work really hard. This is Friday night. You're still working. That's really good work ethic. So I gave them those compliments. I found ways to give them genuine compliments. What I find admiring about them, and I found out I can say that I can admire a lot of people. There every time there are a lot of people who something that I can say nice thing about.
You can
When
find something nice
yeah,
about them. Yeah.
yeah. After that exchange, though, that person feels better. I felt better, and the world is better. It really
Yeah.
just better. And that become, again, rejection. Mentally, I'm sharper, and all that. So try that. It's not going to be easy, but try it.
I'm sure it's not gonna be easy,
Uh,
but if you get the courage and if you do it, I think what I experience, especially
yeah,
if people will give you the compliments, even if they're not, you're still gonna, you're gonna learn something from it.
sure.
And that's what I think rejection therapy is great about is even if you fail, actually that's what you try to get. You want to get rejection. That's your goal.
Right,
But if you fail, you're gonna gain a lot from this failure, from this
right.
experience. But
Yeah,
if you uh, get the positive feedback, then you're just emotionally better. It
right.
strengthens your inner state. So I
Yeah.
think both ways you're still gonna win.
See, I don't necessarily advocate everyone does rejection therapy. I mean, everyone can do it. I think it's gonna be helpful, but it's not what I do. I want to just demystify rejection. That's what I really want people to understand.
Hmm.
Looking for rejection is good. You're gonna understand something that I came to understand after I did it, but really you have to understand what rejection is, which is people's opinion. Once you understand that, things become very different. When some people say no to you, it doesn't hurt that bad anymore. So
And I think this is what fear of most people. We don't know what is rejection. We take it so personally and we take it very emotionally, and
yes,
also it affects you in different levels. And
yeah,
once you change your perception from these experiences, the world you look at from different perspective to the
right,
rejection or for asking or for doing things, right?
right. People talking about paradigm shift, right? Like there's some. They put it in a way of saying this new technology is a paradigm shift. Now everything happens on the phone versus on the computer. Now we do everything on the cloud versus on
Hard
locally.
drive, local,
Yeah,
yeah.
these are the paradigm people want to say about paradigm shift. I think rejection is a paradigm shift. How you see rejection. It changes a lot of things. It changes your everyday lives. It doesn't have to be technology. It changes the way you talk with people. It changes the way you interact with your even family members. So that is something that I learned. That's the one key takeaway I have.
Okay. What about the procrastination?
Procrastination. Procrastination. That's an interesting topic. Not sure I have cured that yet.
Do you procrastinate? Do you
Yeah, I do.
live
Yeah,
like for
I,
the last minute sometimes?
everyone do. So here's something I found that's helped me because I'm I have a lot of things. I have the world is pulling me in all kind of directions. I need to do my blog and write my book. I need to take care of family chores and my kid. And so a lot of things are out there. I need to respond to my fan emails and just tons of them. It's crazy to do it to all of them. Really is. So what I do is, it's my old method is to do one thing a day. I just focus on that thing and don't do anything else. But that doesn't work because I'm putting up a lot of other work that needs to be done. So now what I do is I divide my day up into segments. 2 hour segment, 1 hour segment, and in that segment I do nothing but that particular thing.
No
And
distractions, like putting
no,
blinders.
yes, like for example, for an hour I do nothing but respond to emails, write emails, reach out to people, answer people, social media, Twitter, all that. I spend that an hour. After that hour, I move on. I don't do it again. I try to write blogs, writing and or write books. That I spend that whole 3 to 4 hours of a block of focusing, concentrating on that. And after that, have an hour of meetings. So I try to set all my meetings within that hour, so I know when that time comes, I meet with people and that's it. So what I found is, if I can do that after each day, I made progress in all those areas.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, and I had no distraction. When the phone vibrates, when the on my computer, when the something says, boom, there's a notice saying there's a new email. Don't worry about those anymore. That's something I'm trying to practice.
I think it's very effective. I really like the idea because you have to compartmentalize your time. So throughout the day, this is how I'm focusing on this. Next hour I'm focusing on this, and I'm focusing on this. So this way you don't gonna get distracted by whatever comes on your way.
Yep.
You deal with them later, right?
And at the end of the day, I've made progress in all those areas.
Mm-hmm. How about what was the best business advice you ever got from
Best
your what was the best business advice you ever got?
Best business advice. All right, I'll say one thing is, don't focus on a cool idea. Focus on solving a need that people have. We really, I personally, I got caught up in having a good idea. I thought my idea is the best in the world. I'm amazed why wouldn't everyone want this. There's I would even get confused about other people who don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
But as I kept going, and I found out today's good idea, even in my own mind, I thought this idea. Tomorrow, it's like, that was a stupid idea, But then you started making investment into that idea, start building stuff. It's hard to, there's a cognizant, dissonance, and there's the cost sunk into things, the things you're doing, and you started justifying why it's a good idea, trying to sell other people. Really, the best ideas I found they all solve a need. Some make things faster, make people's life better, and so that's the advice I was given, and I really loved it.
Yeah, I really agree with you on that because once you solve the entrepreneurship is that's what it is. You're a problem solver. So you
Mm-hmm.
try to find the people's pain, identify their problems, and then if there is a problem, then you come up with solution as a form of product or service, and
Right.
then your solution becomes the product or service. And
Right.
this way, there is the people who in need willing to pay money in order to solve their problem. And
Yep.
I definitely agree with you on that. How you do the time management? Do you try? Do you like set goals? Like for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years? Do you ever set goals or?
Yeah, I do. Okay, so when I was doing when I quit my job to start my own software company, I give myself 6 months to see if there's traction. Because I feel 6 months is a good time for me to at least understand if that idea works or not. If I learn, I can still make a decision to pivot if I need to, but I need to give myself a timeline. So there are two things as an entrepreneur, right? So when we're going out there and not making an income, just trying to implement an idea, there's a opportunity cost with that, right? We could have be making incomes at the companies. I think most entrepreneurs are very smart and capable. We'll be making good incomes at a big company. There's opportunity cost. And then once you start doing things and it doesn't work and you start getting anxious, you start feeling, wow, I'm losing money because I'm not only losing money on my venture, actually I'm losing my income. So that's like almost like a double whammy. So there is the emotional runway and there's the real runway. There's I learned this from my coach, from my coach, that the emotional runway is much shorter than the real runway. So if you save money for a whole year, right? You save that for a year, then you want to do your business and see what happens. 3 months into the venture, things doesn't work. You started feeling like, wow, time's running out. I'm losing money. I should not be doing this. So you have to be honest to say, if you have finance, if you have emotional runway for a whole year, make sure you give your everything in that year. Don't stop halfway and feeling you just made a major mistake. Really go through that time and fully give your all on what you're trying to build. So that's one suggestion I have.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. So before we wrap this up, can you give to our listeners actionable thing, what they can take action today to push them, closer to their dreams, to bring from dream to the reality, to make them that entrepreneur they ever want to be, or finish their project? What kind of actionable thing you can give them to bring them closer to their goals?
Well, couple things. One is open yourself up. We as entrepreneurs, we often have this mentality of, we have this idea, this is our baby. Before it's going to be successful, we just don't tell anyone, right? Someone was going to steal that idea and run with it. Yeah, run with it. I just talk in hush tones. But the reality is, the idea, has been thought of by many other people, and I remember one day I was there at a VC conference, or at the VC, just start pulling out this business, and the business plans, start reading some of the highlight ideas with them. That's really kind of disrespectful for people who wrote it, but you heard all kind of ideas. Mm-hmm. And some ideas I couldn't even imagine, all kind of ideas. Mm-hmm. Now, some of them are like, that actually is a good idea. It sounds like a good idea. If I think of it, I'm going to think this is the best idea in the world. Mm-hmm. But that idea was used as an example of what didn't work. So there's no guarantee that your idea somehow came up in your mind, that's the best idea in the world. You think it is, mm-hmm. It's not. What's going to happen is you're going to have to make it work. You have to, get feedback from customers, put yourself out there, ask for feedback. Ask for people to, try to sell it, interview people. That's how you do it. Tell as many people your idea as possible, and don't worry about people stealing it, because they're not going to. If they do, make sure you out execute everyone. If you don't work on it, then if someone hear your idea, they're going to take the idea to harder than you are, then you don't deserve that idea anyway, because it's going to happen. Once you see some traction, you're going to get success. That head start you think you're going to get will vanish in no time when competitions can, when they can hire better, when they have more money. So mm-hmm. Put your idea out there and ask for feedback.
It's a great idea. A great suggestion. Gia, where the listeners can find more about you, how they can follow you, what's your website, what's your blog?
Right. So my website is called entresting.com. So it's the first 5 letters of entrepreneurship, mm-hmm. and then Sting. Mm-hmm. So ENTRE Sting.com. Or you can Google me, 100 Days of Rejection. If you Google that, you'll find me really easily. So I suggest you go to my blog and subscribe to it, and I will keep sending out new suggestions, new learnings, and new episodes out to you. Or you can follow me on Twitter, just my name, at jiajiang.com.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your time. It was very generous and very informative.
No problem. I had a lot of fun, Zan.